You're listening to the Good Old Boys Fantasy Football Podcast. Now here's your hosts, Kevin, Derek, and Alex.
All righty, welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Good Old Boys Fantasy Football Podcast. I am Derek, and joined as always by your co-host, Kevin. Kevin, how are we doing tonight?
Doing good, man. Doing good. So taking this one away from the friendly confines of my house. But nevertheless, we're here. We made it. We're gonna plow through. We got week 14 coming up. It's just here we are. It is do or die week for many, right? And even in the home league, like there's a lot of like the battle for the 8th position. The 8th and 9th team are playing each other in this week.
Right.
So that's kind of cool. And then there in some other leagues, there's obviously a ton of other scenarios, but normally in the home league, it's already decided by now. So it's kind of cool that 8 and 9 actually get to play against each other as a early playoff game to the playoffs that start next week.
Right. I mean, and a lot of times in the home league, we'll get it where this last week it's kind of jockeying for position, and maybe you might see the 9th team be able to slide up there and kind of some different scenarios. But this year, it all comes down here to week 14 in a matchup to see who ultimately makes it into the dance and who doesn't for that final spot. So, everybody else is kind of locked and loaded in there. So it really just does come down to that matchup between 8 and 9, and we'll see who actually makes it in. So some other interesting matchups there as well, right, with some of the seeding type of deals and how that kind of looks and works. But it should be a good week of matchups here, right? You do have a couple of buys sneaking in here this week, and something to be cognizant of, right? Like the Patriots are a team that have kind of come on throughout the season to have some very fantasy relevant players. They're on bye this week. There's some other buys playing out there as well.
Yeah, San Francisco, the Panthers, which
didn't have that one on my bingo card.
Right, but their running game has been valuable, right? Tet McMillan has been just serviceable enough, especially in 3 wide receiver formats.
Right.
So yeah, it's not that it's damning, but it is another obstacle to jump through here the last week, as you have these 4 teams on bye, and some leagues start their playoffs this week, and so you've been able to ride a Christian McCaffrey the entire way, and now you don't have him for your opening round of the playoffs, which is terrible. That sucks, but I understand your league rules, right? Like, which way would you rather have it? I mean, do you want to get to the playoffs because of the player and then take an early exit because you can't use him? Or do you not draft him, you pivot off, you go somewhere else, and you kind of fight for the playoffs, but you have all your guys that you want in your playoff matchup? Like, all right. I don't know. I don't have the right answer to that. It's just unfortunate. You poor unfortunate souls. So hopefully your league can get restructured and can start playoffs in week 15 going forward after this year.
Right. Yeah, that's one of the things that if you're starting playoffs this week, right, that is a rough go of it, especially if you've got some of those players that may have gotten you down the stretch, may have gotten you here, and now it's trying to figure out how to navigate week 1 without being able to do it, right? Most leagues this is the final week of the playoff or final week of the regular season, and then next week starts that. So certainly some good things there. Any kind of news notes, anything that you want to chat about before we start getting into it from week 13 going into week 14?
Nothing seems to be too crazy, right? Like, I mean, there's rumors that we could potentially see Amari and Hampton back on Monday night against the Eagles. We'll see what happens with Herbert, right? So Herbert broke a finger in his non-throwing hand, had surgery earlier this week. We'll see if he's able to go. Hopefully he is. Aaron Rodgers, I guess I haven't seen anything official about Aaron Rodgers, but he took kind of a nasty hit, sat out a series. Mason Rudolph looked terrible. Aaron Rodgers went back in. and all the Steelers are trying to play it's self-accountability, but we're 14 weeks in and or 13 weeks in and we should already have this self-accountability game.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, what else are we missing? Joe Burrow looked pretty good in his first game back. We've already covered that. Like, T. Higgins should be back from concussion protocol. We'll see. Still has to clear, but we'll see how that looks.
Still waiting to see if Jaden Daniels is able to clear for contact, right? That's another one out there.
Yep. Potentially, like if you're just in a bind, Aaron Jones, and to see what Aaron Jones' status is coming into this week, or if it's going to be looking like you need to pivot and move off of something else. So nothing too crazy, right? Like St. Brown, we're not expecting Amon-Ra St. Brown Thursday night.
Right.
That's kind of the biggest thing for tonight. Tuesday night, as we're talking about this, and the upcoming Thursday game. Everyone, fantasy-wise, is expected to go with the exception of Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Right.
And his low ankle sprain.
I saw it today in some news that doesn't really matter, but it's out there nonetheless, right? Adam Thielen requested his release and then immediately got picked up by the Steelers. So that was kind of an interesting one there that apparently must have something in the tank to still get picked up there. Another one that was a little interesting there was I saw earlier today that Desmond Ridder got released from the practice squad by the Vikings, which makes you wonder how bad that was really looking in practice and in that deal when Desmond Ridder gets released from the practice squad when they decided to go with Max Bozemer to start in place of J.J. McCarthy and that debacle. I think that's putting it lightly. But for you to not be able to be around to step up into that one and then got released from the practice squad after that dismal of a performance makes me question.
So I am benching Justin Jefferson in every single league I have him in this week.
Yeah,
there might be one exception. But outside of that, he is being benched everywhere. Like I hate doing it. I don't want to do it. Him being a shell of his former or his self of past years is tanking my home league team. But this is the third, and here's my struggle now. Again, this is not Justin Jefferson, the individual's fault, but this is what I'm noticing. Justin Jefferson has cost me a game in the playoffs each of the last 3 years now. Like this year is because the quarterbacks. Last year, it was because he went up against the Packers and decided to, lay a dud in week 16, 17, whatever it was. And then the year before that, it was bad quarterback play again. Like the schedule makers continue to hose me with Justin Jefferson matchups for the playoffs. And it's getting dangerously close to the point I'm wondering, is it even worth it to keep him? Like, or do I just let him go back, let someone else use that first round capital, and maybe I pick up something else? I don't know. I'm struggling. I'm really struggling in our home league right now.
Fair enough. Yeah, definitely a very interesting one. I don't know what game plan you possibly could have put together for the Vikings to the point where somehow you have not managed to target Justin Jefferson through the first 3 quarters of that game. Like there's no world that you can create for me or a narrative that you can spin for me that somehow through an offensive play calling, a quarterback that's struggling that bad that you can't find a way to get Justin Jefferson at least, a splitting inseam slant, a little 5-yard couple of slants just to get some rhythm and some things going in the game. Like, what are we doing? So,
yeah, I think you or I could have found a way to target him 5 times in 3 quarters.
Right.
Like, I throw it at the dirt at his feet for all I care. Like, just make it look like you're trying.
Right. So, yeah, it was pretty.
He finally looked frustrated. Like he'd been
Yeah,
pretty
he did.
graceful with
He
these
did.
young quarterbacks and everything else. He'd been really graceful. And he finally looked frustrated at the end of the game. So
Yeah, even
we'll
during the
see what
game.
goes on from there.
Yeah. So, alrighty. Any other news notes? Anything you want to hit up here before we start kind of getting into the chat?
Yeah, nah. Let's see what the chat brings.
All right, awesome. Binkins saying, "Sup, fellas?" Not much, Binkins. You know how we do it over here on a Tuesday night. Binkins saying, "Thoughts on Daniel Jones this week and that offense in general?"
I think they looked bad, but if we're being really honest, Houston's made a lot of offenses look bad.
Bad.
Like I think the true test is this week against Jacksonville.
Yeah. Now Jacksonville is 4-1 against coming out of their bye. Like they've been a hot team coming down the stretch.
Yeah. So they have been, and their defense is good, but it's just not quite shutdown worthy like Houston's is, right? And so that's why I'm thinking that's, this is for the lead of the division now that they're going to be jockeying back and forth and to kind of set the precedent. But, the Texans kind of took it to Indianapolis. They exploited some weak spots. I don't understand this not give Jonathan Taylor the ball 25 times thing. Like, right. I just don't. Like, it is clear that you, as a team, organization, whatever phrase you want to put there, do not have the level of success that is desired unless this one particular player just touches the ball all over. Like, so I don't know. Like, free Jonathan Taylor. Like, it is just stupid how you guys get it for half the season. We get into crunch time, and you guys are getting conservative on him, like 16 touches a game. Like, what? Since when? You guys gave him 30 3 weeks ago when you went into overtime and watched him score 3 touchdowns and win you a game single-handedly. Why are we now all of a sudden caring?
Right. And to kind of go into the other part of that question with Daniel Jones, QB 15, QB 14 maybe this week, right? Like he's a top end QB 2 this week for fantasy purposes. There, Binkins. Can name a lot of guys that I think I'd rather start than him, but quite frankly, if that's what you've got, that's what you've got going into week 14.
Yeah, Jacoby Brissett,
right?
Obviously, the top 5, 6. I mean, everybody's going to lose, but yeah, Bo Nix.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd tell you probably 13, but still, it's close.
Okay. Big Trippy over on YouTube saying hi. Well, hello. Justin over on YouTube asking, what is your opinion on Drake May?
Drake May's been a baller. Like, he is a guy that is having an amazing sophomore season. If Drake May's name was Tom Brady, the national media wouldn't be able to get off his jock fast enough to take a breath. But because his name's not Tom Brady, we're cautiously playing this out. Like, Drake May's had a really good year. Looks really good. And he's doing it with weapons that, are not necessarily household commodities, right? This older version of Stephon Diggs is not what Josh Allen had or what Kirk Cousins had in Minnesota, right? Like, it's not the same guy. Keyshawn Booty, right? Like, we had him kind of left for dead.
Right. Pop Douglas has it like, yeah, that was a guy that was one of the better receivers the last couple of years and hasn't really had much of a role on that team this year, right? The running backs seem to be doing well, right? And we were asked a question, not that long ago about, Trevion Henderson and Ramondre Stevenson, and we both called it that Ramondre would have a role in that team once he came back. And guess what? That one played out there, right? They are going to run a two-headed running back committee there, and both of those guys look really good, right? And so I think Drake May is a fantastic quarterback and certainly having a fantastic year, right? Like deserving of the MVP considerations that he's getting coming down the stretch. So, but this is one of those that I don't know that also comes to a surprise to you and I, because we were both high on Drake May going into the draft process last year as well. So,
yes, I liked Drake May more than Caleb Williams, right? Like, and I got called a lot of names for that.
Yes, you did.
I just did, and it was just, here I am. Like, it's all good. Have I been partially wrong on Caleb Williams? Partially wrong. He's still sub 60% completion percentage. Caleb Williams is. So let's not say that I was way off on saying Caleb Williams was not good. But it is what it is. Drake May has looked good, and they continue to build around him. I think the sky is going to be the limit. Very much the, kind of the, I don't know how I want to put this, Derek. It's very much the Seattle Seahawks version that we're seeing the Patriots run, right? It is run through the defense. They're really good against the pass. They have, some wide receivers who are pesky but not out of this world known. And you have Seattle was Marshawn, but you have kind of this running back committee that can't be ignored, right? Essentially. So there's a ton of similarities between the Seahawks team that won a Super Bowl with Russell Wilson, and this Patriots team with Drake May.
So, yeah, I could see that comparison there. So, but yeah, I think Drake May's having a fantastic season, and we'll see how that plays out. Mickle over on YouTube saying Adam Thielen, another old man to the Steelers. Yeah, some teams try and go young. The Steelers have said we're going old.
Yeah, I don't know. Is it his short and intermediate route running? I don't know, maybe. But if he could get open in a phone booth, right? Like that, there's a football phrase for you. If he could get open inside of a phone booth, he would have a role in Minnesota.
Right.
The problem is he could not shake those slot receivers. And he was not showing that in practice or on the field when he was given an opportunity. So you're going to put him in Pittsburgh and just try and have him coach Calvin Austin? Like, is that really what this is?
Maybe.
Like Rome Wilson? Like, here, listen to this guy. He's going to give you some pointers and then do what he tells you to do.
Right.
Like, I don't see him catching many footballs.
Watch what this guy does, but do it at a much faster pace.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Will over on YouTube saying, really nervous starting Lamar. I am thinking of using the waiver wire for Jordan Love. I don't blame you.
I don't blame you either. That is that's a big dilemma, and one that a lot of people are facing. Now, we have Prescott, Goff, Mahomes, Lamar. I mean, this is the week you can get away with that, I think.
Right.
Love at home against the Bears.
It's a plus matchup.
Yeah, exactly. Because the game's at home, like both these games in general, you could see being in the neighborhood of 23-20. Right? Just in that neighborhood of. So I don't hate that. If there was a week that you're going to pivot off of Lamar for Jordan Love, this is probably the one that's going to cause you the least amount of heartburn.
Right. I mean, the Bears give up the third most points to opposing fantasy quarterbacks. Like, this is the week that you can get away with it. Down the stretch and for the playoffs, though, I don't know that I trust that. I would still probably end up going the Lamar side down the stretch, but part of that is kind of what the upside is and ceiling is versus other players that you'd put in there. So, alrighty, any other thoughts on this one?
No.
All right, Bob over on YouTube, Pitts, Strange, or Jawan PPR? Thanks.
Strange.
I would also go Strange. Kyle Pitts, though, is a very close, kind of second for me on that one. I think he'll be kind of about a half point behind if I'm kind of going through my rankings, but I would go Bretton Strange as well. Any other thoughts on this one?
No, I like that.
Jason over on YouTube, drop Tony Pollard for Jacoby Myers and half point PPR.
Yeah. What's Tony Pollard doing for you right now? Squat. Yeah, absolutely.
I think if he was doing nothing, it might be an upgrade.
There's some possibility there too. So regardless of, yeah, pick up Jacoby Myers and see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean his Tony Pollard's running back 40s are not doing anything for you. So Jacoby does potentially give you a little bit of upside there. So guys, if you have any any other questions, anything like that, let's throw those in the chat. Get everything ready to rock and roll here. While we're waiting for that, any thoughts here on the Thursday night game?
I'm
excited.
It's a big time game. Yeah, like it should be super exciting. Obviously, the idea of no St. Brown does suck for fantasy purposes, but it lets JMO kind of do his thing, right? He had a 34% target share last week after Amon-Ra St. Brown went out. So we'll see if that kind of holds true, and if it does, I think he'll see plenty of success against a Cowboys secondary that is slightly improved, but still, leaves a lot to be desired. Both teams both teams are basically right at 500. The Cowboys just seem to be the team that they don't want to face their offense.
Right.
No one's afraid of the Cowboys defensively, but there are some teams that, if you're being honest, they don't want to see them offensively, right? They just don't want to see it if they're clicking. So, see if they can keep that momentum rolling at home. And if they do, it'll probably at least continue to shake up a little bit of noise in the wild card matchup.
Right, because right now both of these teams are in a must-win type of scenario coming into this week. Right, if either one of these teams lose, the chances of them being able to make the playoffs drop significantly to the point where you got to wonder if they'll have enough juice to be able to try and get there. Right, so,
right.
Definitely kind of it's always kind of interesting to say that this is a must-win game with still this many games playing out on it, but this certainly does seem like a must-win game for both teams. So, let's see here. Any other things that you want to kind of hit up here on the Thursday game?
No, I mean, I don't think so, right? Like, I think the Lions secondary's beat up, so if they can't get the pass rush home to Dak Prescott, I expect CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens and Jake Ferguson, all three, to have really good games and continue to drive your fantasy rosters forward. Javonte, I think Javonte's, you're looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of about 80 yards. I don't think it's a massive day, but I think it's enough to keep them balanced fairly well. So we'll see how that shakes out there for the Lions defensively. But like you said, Derek, you got to have it. Otherwise, you're starting to pack a bag for next year if you drop this game.
Right, teams starting to book their off-season vacations. So,
yeah.
Alrighty. Hit this one up first. Hampton or Mbuka in the flex full point PPR. At this point, it's Mbuka with Hampton with us not knowing if Hampton's actually going to be back or not.
I would tell you cosign. The only difference would be is if you're allowed to sub out the injured player, and then I would play Hampton over Mbuka if I knew that I had a sub, saying that if Hampton's out, then Mbuka would get slotted in.
Right. But yeah, that would be the only way I'd do that, because if not, I know that I'm taking a 0 on that one. Or if you get a whole lot of news over the weekend saying that Hampton is for sure playing. Trone over on YouTube for Darts bye week. I have Bo Nix. Would you drop Bo Nix to pick up Jordan Love versus the Bears? Feel like Nix struggled just to get 18 points against the Commanders last week.
It's not always pretty with Bo Nix, but he finds a way to get you there. And they have, a good matchup against the Raiders this week. So I don't think you need to drop Bo Nix to pick up Jordan Love, because the thing about the Packers is they could just as easily decide that they want to run the ball 40 times a game. And we have to remember that. The Packers do not care about our fantasy football success. They want to win football games, and they're a run-first team. Don't get it twisted. 4 touchdown passes on Thanksgiving is great because everyone's watching it. Don't be surprised if he throws for 180 yards and 1 touchdown against the Bears, and then Josh Jacobs just handles the rest of it.
Right.
Like, you can't be shocked at that. So I would play Bo Nix personally.
Yeah, I would as well. And quite frankly, I think both of these guys are going to be back-to-back, kind of in the rankings as well. Right. I think realistically, you're probably looking about a half-point separation, maybe a point. So, yeah, wouldn't necessarily waste waiver priority on that one or the fab to basically get maybe a half points difference. So, would you drop Goddard for Kyle Pitts or Zach Ertz? Goddard has put up 4 points in the last 3 weeks. This week I'd be playing Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, I'd drop him for either one.
Yeah. So, Binkings, everyone seems to be giving New England the number 1 seed. Denver's still smashing. What they're the number 1 seed because they are a half game better than the Broncos. So, it is what it is until the Broncos pull ahead on that one.
Yeah, and next week will be a good story, right?
Mm-hmm.
Patriots, Bills. We'll kind of see how that looks with the Bills knowing that they're battling for a wild card spot. The Patriots, in most cases, if they win that game, they will ward off the Bills and win the division. So plenty to ride on for both teams. We're just about 10 days too early. So
Right.
give it a week and a half, and we should see a ton about that game that we like and want to see.
Right. So, alrighty. Well, I do believe that that's going to take us down here to the end of the chat. We'll be back again on the Friday night for the Friday Night Lights here, getting that one going. So, and in the meantime, everybody can shoot us over the questions, concerns for the fantasy rosters at Good Old Boys across all the socials, and then we can also say New England has a cakewalk schedule. That is some joys of that. But any final thoughts out there for the viewers and listeners tonight?
No, good luck. I hope anybody who's fighting for a playoff spot gets it. Like, we'll obviously get into more of this on Friday, but hammer down. You got 1 week left to do the playoffs. There's no time for excuses. Do or die.
I like it. So absolutely right. Get everything set, get everything ready to rock and roll. We'll be back on Friday night, 11 p.m. Eastern, to go through the Friday Night Lights underneath them, for that bet set snap and really get things rocking and rolling as we look towards the slate here for week 14. But that's going to do it for us tonight. He's Kevin. I'm Derek. Have a good one. Be safe. Toodaloo.